Welcome, welcome. Sorry I'm late. I am having all kinds of computer issues. As you can see, I'm stuttering. I just spent the last 26 minutes, well, actually, probably 30 minutes restarting the computer, and I don't know what's going on, but the computer is having issues. So, that being said, we are going to close a bunch of windows and see what we can do. Well, I got to put you on hold for just 1 second. I will be right back, though. I have to pass a message. Okay, I'm back. Dealing with some last minute businesses. Businesses. Yeah. So, what is happening? What's new on the world? Go ahead and this just because I can, and that would be helpful. Oh, look, UPS is here. Window film is going out, if you like that. I don't know what's going on with the stutteriness. It could be. You know what? Let me try this. I'm gonna turn off my screen for a minute. I'm still here with you, I promise. I'm gonna close this and I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna pop open video and I am going to try this. Hello. Oh, look, this is working. Okay, what's happening, T-Town? I'm just having all kinds of computer issues, that's all. Spent a half an hour fighting with this thing to get it restarted because the video was stuttering real bad, and then all of a sudden this is working. So we're going to go see if add a background. Ooh, where's my backgrounds? Wow, this is so unprofessional. I am so unprepared. Wait a minute, I think I know where it is. Um, let's see if this works. I don't know if it's gonna. I haven't played with this before. Hey, look, it worked. It's probably not going to be as great as the green screen, but we're going to call it close. Got a whoops, little something going on over there, a little something going on over here. Oh, this is over here. I'm not sure why that's all showing up, but it is. So, uh, yeah, I don't know. Trying to, I don't, I've never done this in here before, so I've always used OBS. So, yeah, I don't know. This is the best I got for the moment. Unless there's something else I can do here. Background with, oh, I wished it had some, wished it had a little bit more control. It doesn't give me a lot. So we're just gonna have funny things happening. But I mean, it's not good. Let's face it. Just working trying to get my new printer dialed in. Oh, those can be fun. I'm telling you. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I have an idea. Let me try doing this. And there we go. That's a little better. We'll zoom me in just a little bit. Yep. Although when I move around, things light up around me. Ooh, I got another idea. Let me do this. Let me go background, go to green, close this, this about in the middle. Okay, and then I'll zoom in just a bit more. Yep, that's going to be it right there. And look, now I can go all the way to the edges of the screen. That's exciting. I don't know. Is that better? You tell me. I feel like my hair is a little green. Can I adjust that at all? I don't know. I feel like my hair is a little green and it's a little gray too. So green and gray, I don't know. Um, oh, okay. There we go. That might be better. What do you think? I, we're going to go with it for now. I'm supposed to be here talking about window tinting and tools and things like that. And guess what I got samples of? And we're going to have these soon. But I've heard people asking for these. So we are going to bring them in. And we also have the hand jobs in yellow and pink. And that is kind of a hot pink color, the yellow color. I feel like the green screen's working a little better on this. I don't know. Maybe. You tell me. It's sometimes hard to tell. What's up, Martin? Happy to see you here. Now I can do a bunch of small projects for things like banners, decals, stickers, and much more. But now, all done in house. Bigger stuff, I'll outsource. What size can you print up to? Because inquiring minds may want to know. I still feel like that didn't change. Huh? I don't know. I feel like the color's a little bit rich, little something. Have not decided yet. 19-inch by whatever. Okay, that's pretty decent. Anti-flicker. I don't need an anti-flicker. No, actually, that's better. I'm still clicking buttons because I don't know any better. So what is happening in the tint world? I feel like things are about to start popping off. It is wintertime. I've been noticing a lot more 50-foot rolls being purchased than earlier in the season. So one piece of advice I can give, because it's not gonna over the next few months, it's not gonna get better. So when you're buying film, I'm down. Let's do it. We'll even get you a didn't we already do a keg for you? I mean, oh, you mean you might print one. Okay. Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say we already did a keg for you, didn't we? But I got an itch. Got an itch. Also, I think some changes are going to be made. Definitely going to try to get someplace. I think I'm going to try to arrange to have things going on at the tint shop. Maybe go out there and try to do some live demo type stuff while we're tool talking. Um, you're going to notice a little more presence from me too online. I've been kind of in the background, just fading away. I've I've had a time over the last few months, and I don't know. Every time I look at the screen, I'm like, I don't like that. Oh, maybe it's a brightness and a contrast thing. That's a little better. And if I automatic that, oh, that's a little better. Okay. I don't know. The color's just different. I should stop looking at myself. Ryan said, as I have progressed in this industry, I realize not to be afraid of having film inventory. It's important, especially coming up on this time of the year. This year for everybody, I'm sure, has been a little different than previous years. So you might be noticing it a little slower than normal. It is an election year, and we did just go over a great big inflation hump. So things are a little tougher. And my prediction is they're going to be tough right through the winter. So if you're like, oh, I don't really want to spend the extra money and get a whole roll, you might wanna tough it out because it might take you a little longer to sell that film, which makes it a little harder to replace it, and if you're buying 50-foot rolls right now, there's not a smaller option, there's not less than 50 options, so that's kinda important, and it is October now, so we still got November, December, January, and probably February. Um, then I would expect at that point, it's gonna start getting better again, and we do usually have a little bit of a pickup in November. It's usually short-lived. Somebody threw a Thanksgiving in there to just mess everything up. If you notice, holidays, weeks around holidays seem to be a little slow also. So it's hard to get any kind of momentum between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then you got New Year's, and after the New Year's, well, everyone's kind of not really thinking about window tint. So that makes it tough, whether they got money or not, unless somebody's buying one of those year-end sale cars and they want to get it tinted because they always have their cars tinted, and those are usually about about the amount of customers you get. So if you got a good following, a lot of repeat customers, it really helps. If you're just starting out and you're new in this, that's going to be kind of tough. That's because without the repeat business, it winters are just difficult. For anybody starting a tent shop, I keep seeing posts of people talking about going out on their own and starting their own thing right now. And my recommendation is don't, unless you really like that kind of a challenge, because like you're putting yourself up against the wall, like hardcore. And so that's not something you're probably wanting to do. Wait a minute. This has AI background. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm just all sorts of getting distracted here. Let me see if I can go virtual camera. Then, okay. Ooh, but that's very green. That's really showing the green through my stuff. No, let's go back to this one. Yeah, I think that's better, whether they like it or not. Except for now, I got all this stuff in my background again. Interesting. Oh, wait, I think that was already there. Anyways, still got my tripod in the background. There's that. Hey, does this color show up better? No, but still kind of washed out. I don't understand. That's the difference between the lighting. It's just messed up. It is just messed up. Usually, the only time I'll order partial rolls is if I'm bringing in new products on a budget. Yes, bringing in a new film line is especially tough. And that's why with the Alpha, because the Alpha is great, it's got like 70% teaser and 98, 99% IR rejection. It's just crazy. But with that kind of crazy, it also comes a crazy price. And so to help combat that, we offer 25-foot rolls. And that's enough to get you started. And then when you do a job, you can think about ordering a half a roll or a whole roll at that time. But yeah, it's kind of pricey. So, and I'm thinking about doing a contest of sorts. I'm not sure what to do and how to go about doing it, but I'd really like to do some sort of a contest. Typically, at the end of the year, we do some sort of a big giveaway of some sort, and I haven't quite decided what that is this year. This has been an exceptionally difficult year in comparison to other years. So there's that. I probably shouldn't look down while I'm supposed to be talking to the camera. There is that. T-Town says, man, not sure if you've seen my post in WFR, but man, I never was able to get a 98 Firebird to stretch the back glass. Have to still try to do that again sometime this week. Oh man, I would love to find a way to come down there and help you with that. It's so one of the tricks to it is, I don't know if I can describe this. Let me see if I can draw it. Maybe I can draw it because I'm some sort of a professional artist. No, I'm not. Stop lying to these people, Rick. Jesus. Oh, look at that. Sundistributing.com. Sundistributing.com. All right. So you're gonna have a back window that looks, yeah, kind of like that. That's Corvette. Um, yeah, no. You're gonna have a window that kind of looks like that. A little flatter on the top, but you get you get the picture. So down here is going to get real tight because there's a bottom swoop. No, wait a minute. It does curve around. Yeah. Anyways, down here it's kind of curved under. So you're going to want to, when you go to lay that out, what I would typically do is there's two ways I would do it. Way number one. Okay, way number one is I would pocket shrink, and I would typically have 3 pockets just like this. Now, this is going to create quite a bit of shrink. Sorry, dropped my pen. This is going to create quite a bit of shrink, but I would typically try to shrink out this pocket right here and get that laid down and mush that down in the center, and that'll increase this pocket and make it a little better, bigger. And then I would shrink those out and try not to push them too much as you're shrinking them. But if you've got the bottom all tacked onto the window and you just shrink those spots, they'll start to lay down. And when they look like they're pretty smooth, then you just kind of swipe them to the outsides and up, so you're going to just kind of start in the middle and get that laid down. You're going to have a pocket on each side, and you're going to warm this pocket up, and then you'll take and kind of push the excess up that way. And same thing with this one. When you get this shrink a little bit, you'll kind of push the excess that way. And that's going to kind of make the whole bottom lay down. Now, the way that you do that without shrinking at all is, and we'll go to my second one, this one right here, is you'll put it on the window and you're going to make you a line from about halfway straight down the middle. And you're going to lock that down right there. And then you're going to push, whoops, doing this all backwards. Then you're going to push this up and you're going to push this up. And you might have to, when you go to do the second side, you might have to hold it here while you push it up the other way. Because if you don't, a lot of times it'll kind of, the other side will start coming back up as you go over, or you can take your hands and just kind of push it up that way. And when you do that, it just kind of snaps into place pretty easy. And once you do that, you're also going to find that stretch down there is going to take a lot of your shrink away from up top. So don't shrink the top first. Even if you're going to do a no shrink on the bottom of the back, tack that into place on the outside first so you know what to shrink on the inside. Because if you shrink everything, if you just lay it and do like an H pattern and think you're going to lay the bottom on the inside and you shrink the top, there's more film up there than there needs to be. because once this stretches, it's going to pull some of that top out. And if you shrink that, that's going to make the bottom tighter and harder or even impossible to get it to snap down. So just food for thought. But God, I would love to. That's the kind of car if I could get my hands on with a camera rolling and a microphone, we could have a field day. I but I grew up in the Motor City. I've been tinting since the 80s. So that whole car's entire lifespan, and it wasn't a very expensive car. So I've tinted probably thousands of them. Or maybe hundreds. I don't know. It's hard to really count. But I've tinted a lot of cars in my days, and I've tinted a lot of those. Because remember, we had the Firebird and we had the Camaro, and um, we sold lots of them, or they sold lots of them. We had lots of them around here. Tim, is it an aftermarket hatch glass from your post? It sounds like the curve is off a bit, right? Those are two ways you didn't try. Those are the only two ways I know. Any other way, you just fight, and it's hardcore, and nobody wants to fight that way. That's too much fight. I had a good friend of mine. He got a hold of an old T-bird, but he's down in Georgia, and so he moved away. He doesn't like the cold, but yeah, he's in Georgia, and he got an old T-bird turbo coupe, and he called me, and I tried to walk him through it over the phone, and he just couldn't get it. But the secret to the T-bird, if you ever get one, is you'll push down the corner and you'll tape that edge, and then you'll kind of push down to the other corner and tape the edge. And don't worry about it going all the way down and staying down. It's too much for that. You do have to shrink them, but that'll create a pocket in each corner. And now that the sides are taped, you don't have to, because you're going to get the heat real close to that edge. And you want to make sure that edge is stuck down. If it pops, you're gonna shrivel the tent there on the edge, and that's no good because that's a start over kind of a situation. So yeah, there is that. Um, was film easier to shrink back in the day compared to now? Oh hell no. See, back when I started in the I started in the late 80s, and at that time the film companies didn't even realize that the film was shrinkable. But the way it's manufactured, somebody stumbled across the idea that if you put heat to it, it reacts and it gets smaller. Um, since then, shrinking became a thing, and in the mid '90s, we learned how to form a back glass, and because we used to do like like that Camaro, that Firebird, I would have done a car like that in probably 6 strips without even thinking about it, just looking at the curve, because we didn't shrink any of the film. So you'd have to make the strips however big you thought you needed to actually cover. And then we got tricky with that, and we'd cut it on the defrost line so you didn't see the strips, which was way better. But then once we learned that the film reacted when you put heat to it, and fun fact, I almost discovered shrinking. I was uh, I was having a spot, and I hit it with heat, because when you lay something down, if you had a finger or a spot, you'd hit it with heat and push it down and it would stick. And I was thinking, and I was kind of new, and I was thinking, if only I could heat it up first and soften it up. But when I did, it reacted and it created that swivel thing. And when it did that, it spooked me. And I was like, okay, don't ever put heat to the outside of the film again. Always wait till you put it on the glass. And then it wasn't but a couple of years later, film rep come around. He's talking about how people out west are starting to shrink their film, and he had a guy come in and show us how it worked. And from that point on, I was like blown away and learning. And I can actually do things with film. And wait a minute, I sound like I'm bragging, but I can do things with film that most people don't think is possible. It's just, film is, it's a stretched polyester that has a memory, you know, kind of like vinyl. If you preheat vinyl and then stretch it and let it cool, it holds that shape. But if you hit heat to it again, it shrinks right back down, right? So that's something that the film companies learned, the manufacturers learned about the tinners learning how to shrink their film. The way the film's manufactured is it goes through a roller system, and going being pulled through that roller system while it's being sprayed and coated and dyed and all those things, it's stretching just a little bit. And that's what's happening when we put heat to it. In that reaction, it comes together and it shrinks. Now, back in my day, it didn't shrink that much. They weren't intentionally stretching it, it was just a byproduct of the manufacturing process. But since they learned about that, now they're trying to add stretch to it, because the more stretch you add to it, the more shrink you can get out of it. And well, that's why I love the Helios film, because I think they found the perfect formula. Most back windows with the Helios film, I can shrink the entire window without touching it. No carding, no organizing, no pressing. Shrink the whole window. It's laid flat, and then just to prove it, I can card it out, and we're good. So Facebook messaged you how I did a Camaro back last. Okay, let's see if I can. Let's see if we can have a look see at that. Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong window. That's not the window I was looking for. But thanks for asking. All right. Which window am I looking for? The Facebook window. Or did you message that like back a while ago? I don't know. I'm logging in. We're going to see. Hold on. It's catching up. There you are. Is this today? Oh, story time. Quite the production. All right. Let's fast forward. All right. Let's go find this one. No, not that one. This one. All right.
It doesn't even fit on my glass.
Oh, what's going on here? I don't even know how this works. Oh,
I never remember having to use a big piece.
you guys get to hear that? I have an idea.
Don't
All right,
really
now,
line it up perfect because all we're going to do is be stretching most of it.
now can you hear
I
it?
really don't even get a shrink.
Where am I?
On this side.
There I am.
Get this window and not worry about what the camera's doing. If you want to see it, we'll put this camera here. We'll put my H. Lift this off and put my H in here. Try to lock this side down.
There we go. Okay.
Try to lock that side down.
There is sound.
Push this up. To see that stretch
Yeah,
right there.
I put it to play the sound so you guys could hear it also.
I'll lift it up so you can lose some of the tension.
And honestly,
Tension
let me put the sound on my
down,
headphones. That way you guys don't get the echo. All right. So let me go over here.
This it has to get shrunk.
All right, that's better.
All this is stretch.
All right, so
shrink right up there, if you can see it.
see how you didn't. you got all
I'm
this
gonna work
excess
my
in
way
the
down this
bottom
way.
right here.
And I always like to,
That's
with this, I
not so
always try
good.
to put
Oh,
my hand here, pushing it
let
down,
me.
right? Locking down, locking, locking. Just roll with it, right? And go to that side.
Oh, actually,
I want to work this way.
I should turn you down for everybody. All right. So, anyways, let's get back to this.
See, I'm pushing my finger right
I'm going to
here.
go ahead and go
Pull that
back
straight.
here just a little bit. Now, see how
Then
you
I'm gonna
got it
work
up
my way
here
down
at the
this way.
top, all
And I
nice and
always like
tight?
to,
What I
on
was
this side, I
talking
always try to
about
put my
before is
hand
you want to leave that loose
here,
and start
pushing
here
it down,
in the middle,
right?
and you'd
Locking
push
down,
this straight down
locking
and then
down,
walk this over
locking,
this way and then walk
locking.
this over this way, and you'll
Roll
notice
with it,
it'll
right?
just snap right down at the edges, and
You
then
go to
this up
that
here
side.
would get even smaller, and a lot of times up here you wouldn't need to shrink either, and that's because of
I'm
all
gonna
this
work
stretch down
this way.
here. It's pulling, trying to get something from somewhere, so it's going to
Work
pull
this
here
down.
because as tight as you could feel this,
See, I'm pushing
that's
my finger right here,
that's there
holding
being
it so it
too
doesn't
much
bubble
film in
back
the
up
middle,
on me.
not enough on the
Pull it.
outside. So
Miss
it's going
my
to try to pull from
hard
somewhere to make
miss.
more on the outside. And that's where
Not
it's going
this,
to get
but
from
pull
up
on
here.
top
But
of
you
it
have
where
this up here all nice and locked
this
down.
is it.
And by having this locked down up here, you're gonna
Stretch.
prevent you from getting any excess or pulling or tricking the
That.
film down here. So, and with this curved of a back glass, they do vary from car to car.
Oh.
They're not always the
Now
same.
let's take my heat gun to that top side. There's a little finger right there.
But with this particular window,
There we go.
I'd almost guarantee that, as little as you have to shrink at the top of this one right now, chances are if you did it the way I told you and did the bottom first and worked it out and did the top second, you probably wouldn't have any shrink on this window at all. But that's the trick in doing it. That's the order, and the order does matter. It makes a difference. Oh, look, there's that tin keg. I knew I made one for you. Well, if you're going to print your own wrap, let me know and I'll throw you a tint keg logo to play with too, because I wouldn't mind seeing the logo on the keg. It doesn't have to be that big. You can, just discreetly put it somewhere, but Yep. That is exciting. Ooh, and let's see how you laid it.
Very, very much.
Oh, let me get back here.
See, really good towel.
Oh, look at that sun distributing dash towel. You could use the towels.
Tinter Battle shirt, 2021. I didn't get to go. Trying to go to 22. We'll put this one down. This matches my shirt. Matches the car. All this water is gonna. We'll squeegee it off.
So here another little tip I can give you. Actually, I don't know. Are you going to take it over to the peel board? Because by not taking it over the peel board, one thing that I found with hatchbacks is once I've cleaned the inside window, if I close it, then this up here used to be the bottom while the hatch was open. And sometimes when you close it, water will drip back down onto the glass that was up there.
Not having a big enough board.
So using a peel board, and you just mentioned in the video not having a big enough board. I do understand that won't fit on there, but this bottom curve would actually fit right here, and the rest of it can hang. You just need to peel it out, unless you're not going to Frankenstein it. I don't know. Let's watch. Exciting. I love this. I want to come tint with you.
Spray it, put it back down. Put it back on this side.
Ryan, that is perfect, 100%. You are an artist, my friend. Let's see, can I add another one?
Lay this back down. It's like windshields. I typically do it in quarters, but seeing that this window.
Oh, you're going to reverse roll it. So you didn't need to use the. All right. So what I would do, I don't reverse roll. So
Reverse roll it.
that makes
Don't
sense, I
really think
reckon. Um,
this is gonna matter too much if it's straight or not, because I don't know. What
yes,
will be
Ryan,
straight. Will
that's
that be straight? I
that's
don't know.
basically how I was trying to describe it. Your bottom two arrows, I would push first, and then once you get it like even with the top two arrows, everything kind of goes straight up, and it just works. Well, okay, Legends has got a good
Doesn't really
question.
matter, right?
We're we're gonna oops, I tried to pause it with the wrong screen. All right, we're gonna go ahead and pause this. Let's go ahead and put me back up. All right. Legend has a good question, and I used to think the same thing. Vinyl, one, it's a lot softer material, where vinyl is vinyl and window film is like PTE. PTE? Yeah, yeah. I was thinking PPE for a minute. I'm like, that ain't it. But anyways, or PET. Okay, that's it. I'm sorry. Good times. So vinyl isn't really stretched that much in the beginning. And so typically with vinyl, you would preheat it and stretch it, pre-stretch it, and then you would, like say for instance on vinyl, I'm doing. Let me pull this back up again. All right, say this area here, I'm going to do with vinyl, and I want to stretch it around this. Oh wait, you can't see my mouse.
Well, I'm gonna.
Okay, there it is. All right, say I'm going to stretch around this area right here, or let's go with the bumper. I'm going to stretch this bumper, and I want it to wrap over the top. To get it to wrap over the top of this bumper, I need it to shrink. Now, vinyl, the way it comes off a roll, will never shrink enough to do that. And vinyl, if you take it without pre-stretching it, you will notice that it won't shrink the same with like window film. If you shrink it on the area that you cut off the roll, it's going to shrivel right up. Vinyl will do exactly the same thing. Vinyl, as far as the manufacturing process and the way it's put onto the rolls, off the master rolls and all that, it's stretched a little bit, just like window film. But the biggest difference between the two is vinyl is stretchy. So if you pre-stretch, then you can re-shrink. Now, also vinyl, I see a lot of people, and this is wrong, and this is supposed to be tint talk, but we're going to talk vinyl for a minute. I see a lot of people, they'll lay this on here and stick it a little bit over here and a little bit over here, and then they'll heat it up and stretch this over here. Now, when you do that, this is going to pucker on the edges and it's going to fail. The reason is because back to that tint and vinyl, they both have a memory. And it's going to remember that this was supposed to be down here. And so when sun heat and age hit it, it's going to try to pull back and lift, and you're going to get the puckering along the edge here. So that's why you attack it over here and heat it up and stretch it around this corner and then reheat this edge, because this edge is going to remember it wanted to be smaller. Well, this is already locked down. So as this gets smaller, it's just going to fold over and lay right down on this top edge, if that makes sense. But we can't do that with vinyl. And vinyl typically, and maybe it's because I'm a window tinter, but typically I follow the same rules and I try not to do any stretching and heating on this end or this end if I'm pulling the film around this way. And I never try to do it on both this side and this side unless I absolutely have to. And if I absolutely have to, you better bet your bottom dollar that I'm post heating the hell out of it, making sure that it's lost all of its memory before it leaves my shop, because the last thing I want to do is have to fix a vinyl job. I hate it. I'm not the biggest fan of vinyl. I was when I was working for people, I was kind of forced to learn how to do vinyl and wraps and stuff. And, it's funny, something that's so remarkable and so much fun. I enjoy teaching people how to do vinyl. I just always had this hang up because I was a window tinner, and my boss decided since I was a window tinner, I needed to do car wraps too. And I wasn't pleased with that because it wasn't my idea. Probably it was probably my arrogance. And besides that, don't you know who I am? I'm a window tinner. You know, I am Rick fucking McIntyre, tinter extraordinaire. And he thought maybe I needed to. He made me learn vinyl graphics. I did a lot of commercial wrap jobs, and he made me learn PPF. So I hate PPF. It's like he never asked me if I wanted to learn anything. He told me this is what we're going to do now, and it was up to me to just suck it up or go get another job. And I didn't want to go get another job. So there's that. Oh, what's this over here? It says +2. Oh, invite up to 10 guests. I'm sorry, I'm still learning about this. 512. I feel torn on this one. Anyways, Ryan was sharing a picture and he drew a nice little diagram. So we're going to go ahead and delete this. And then we're going to stop sharing screen. Now we're going to share a screen. All right. And this is, oh, I thought I could make it bigger. Okay, I guess I can't. Anyway, this is Ryan's diagram. This is how he does them. So yeah, this is basically what I was saying. If you look right here where the X is, this will be the initial lock point, and you can kind of see his squeegee lines. He starts here, and he goes boom, 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 but then he's pushing it this way, he's pushing it this way, and he's pushing this way, and he's pushing this way. And when these all get to about this point, it all goes to the top. And that's basically how you do it. And I always start with the no shrink because, like I said before, these windows tend to vary from car to car. They sold a lot of them, and I think they had more than one mold. Well, there's a couple different theories. There's either more than one mold making the windows, so some of them were this way and some of them were that way. If it's an aftermarket glass, so if the back window got broken, they replaced the glass, then all bets are off. But the other thought is because it's an extensive curve like that, they get this glass hot to make it, and depending on how much it cools in the mold before they take it out, it could warp or shift. So it's going to change slightly. In fact, all curved windows are slightly different than each other, but when they're not so extreme, then you don't notice it from one car to another. But back in the 90s, ooh, we had some extremes going on. So we would notice that, I just did the same car yesterday, and why is the one today kicking my ass? And that would be why. But yeah, so I always try to do the no shrink first. And if I can get it to snap down quick and easy, because remember, when you're laying it, you still want it to snap down quick and easy. So if I could get it to snap down quick and easy, that's how we went. If it fought me and I couldn't, that's when I'd create the pockets and shrink it. So that's the difference in those. And all the videos I have, and I've started organizing and going through videos today so I can see if I can get some usable stuff to share with people. But because unlike Matt, I never thought to just upload them all to YouTube. That would have been way too easy, right? But yeah, so the pocket shrink, that's a good way. And I'm torn on how I like the pocket shrink. See, when I first learned to do these back windows, we were all wet shrinking. So there was no dry shrinking. Nobody thought of the baby powder yet. So everything was wet shrink back then. And so I would wet pocket shrink it. But since then, I play back and forth, and we don't get a ton of them anymore because there's just not a ton of them on the road anymore that aren't, car show type stuff. And the show type stuff, they don't tend to come in and get tinted. Although I did do one for Autorama, which is a local yearly car show that we have around here. And it's funny because the guy was like, I um he knew his garage was less than adequate. The car wasn't completely put back together yet, and he needed to get ready for the show, and he just wanted the hatch tinted. And I get to his house, and he's got a blanket laying down, and he's got the hatch leaning against his living room wall, and he's like, "Is this fine here?" And I'm like, "Huh, I don't see why not." And somewhere I got pictures of all that. I haven't found them yet, but I'm really bad at organizing pictures and videos and things that I might want to go look at later. Videos and pictures, I take thousands of them and they all go in the same folder in the same list, and I never, What's up, Nicholas? I also use Dotrix on these windows too. Yeah, actually, Tim, that's whoa, hey, that's not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do is put me up there. Okay, so obviously I'm gonna. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I just today got the update on Restream, so I'm still learning a little about it, a lot. But anyways, yes, that's definitely how you'd want to tackle it. Tim, you've done a couple of these or a few of these, so you know your way. But yeah, for sure, next one you get, definitely try it that way. And if you have to take another shot at that one from earlier in the week or last week, or when was it? Um, and Tim, just so oh, Mary says I can search 2016 for it. She's pretty sure that's the year. All right. And Tim, just so you know, if you ever find yourself pulling your hair out and you can't get answers, before you fail, call me. I have walked, you know, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. Most people that know me know I'm not really a bragger, but I will tell you I have probably tinted just about everything you're going to face, and I've struggled with everything you're going to face, and I've conquered every except for a 19 god, what was it, 1976 Plymouth Valero, I think. I don't know. And honestly, I was having a bad day that day and I just didn't want to. And I told the customer, kick rocks. I tinted all your side windows. Go find somebody else to do your back window. And he was happy with that. And I was happy not to deal with it anymore. It was for a wholesale account, and I just wasn't getting paid enough for that day. I was in a bad mood, had a bad attitude that day. So yeah. Last week it's coming back. It's another guy that tints in town. It's really not even a customer. It's just a friend. Well, maybe you guys, on second thought, Sean wants a dash towel in my giveaway. Sean, I should send you a dash towel. You sent me that one shirt that one time that I never wear. I should wear that shirt one day, but I fear it's going to be too big. I lost a lot of weight. I'm like 180 pounds, which is, I mean, awesome. but my clothes don't fit. Mary's been buying me clothes that do fit though. And was I supposed to? Oh my god, I suck at life, Sean. Um, but Tim, you guys should take a day off. We're only about an hour away, hour and a half away, something like that. You should take a day off and come up here with him, and we'll figure out a day. If you could pull off a Friday, I know a tint shop that's not going to have anything going on. We won't be in the way. We could just run right over there and knock it out. We can make videos. It'll be fun. I would love that. And besides that, I need an excuse to get in a tent shop and get my face out there because we were just talking about this today. And honestly, I haven't been doing much for tinting. I haven't been making content. And I fancy myself helping the new tinters out and helping them with their start and everything. But unfortunately, not every new tinter is going to make it. So they come in and eventually they're like, this just ain't working out. I can't deal with it. And they go get a different job. And then other new tinters come in and it's a revolving door on that end of the spectrum. And so a lot of these new tinters coming in, they don't even know I exist. They don't know they don't know me. People like Sean, people like Dean Mitchell, people like God, every big name in this industry knows who I am because they're still here and they remember me from I mean, I used to be all over and everywhere. And you guys just don't see me anymore. And that's not fair. That's not fair to the new guys because I do have a lot to offer and I love to help. And it just makes more sense that I did almost say a real job. And to them, it is a real job, Ryan. If you think about it, um, tinning's not easy. I mean, for someone like us, and Tim even knows because he got his ass kicked by a Camaro or a Firebird. And so that's a little reminder that what we do is not the easiest thing in the world to do. But after you've been doing it for a few years, it's kind of like walking, and um, we kind of take what we do for granted. And I don't know. I sometimes you to the new guy that's been trying to do this for 3 or 4 months or 6 months and just isn't getting or even a year. It was a year before I felt comfortable about taking somebody's money for a tint job. I mean, don't get me wrong, my boss took people's money for me to do their tint job and I just felt awful about it. But on the other hand, I also needed stuff to practice and I wanted to learn how to tint. My dad told me if you're not going to have an education, you better get good at something and it better be something people want. And so, like my dad, he was a truck driver and he told me I couldn't be a truck driver. He'd whoop my ass if I became a truck driver. He says it's the worst life you could ever want. But that's what he got good at. And so that's what he did all my life. And he ended up retiring from it. So it worked out for him, but that was off the table for me. And at first, I got into car audio and accessories and I loved it. And don't get me wrong, I still love that stuff. But when I found window tinting, it was a whole new thing. Like car audio, yeah, you could do a full audio system and the transformation and sound was amazing. But when you walk by that car in the parking lot, you had no idea. When you tint a window in a short period of time, the transformation is amazing. And when it's sitting in the parking lot, everybody knows. You know what I'm saying? It just looks better. I used to say there's no such thing as an ugly car with tint or something like that. There's no such thing as a car that looks worse with tint than without. And then cars started coming out with that sandstone tan color. And a lot of those little shitty, like the 4-door Cavalier, and tan with window tint just looked awful. And I was like, I stand corrected. But there wasn't a lot of them. Almost every car just looks better. My wife's almost 90-year-old grandfather didn't really think I had a real job until I think he came to the reunion this year. Nice. You know what's funny is in auto shop in the ninth grade, um, I used to bring in people's cars and we'd learn on them, we'd work on them in auto shop in high school because that was a real thing back then. And one day, my cousin, he got a new car and he bought a stereo and he wanted to put the stereo in. And so I asked the teacher if we could do a stereo in class one day. And he says, "No, we're trying to teach you guys a real job." Well, fast forward several years, and I was making real money doing car stereos in cars. And he always stuck in the back of my mind about that one. And boy, would he have lost his shit if he knew that I was wanting to be a window tinter. But I didn't even know I wanted to be a window tinter. I mean, when I was like 10 or 11 years old, my dad, he tinted the windows on his pickup truck and his cap, and I got to help him with that. So I mean, if technically I could say I've been tinting for what, about 42, 43 years now. But yeah, Sean, you don't have a real job. I've seen you do your quote real job. And of course, it's always at public events, and you seem to be having a good time and mingling and having fun with people. And it's just hilarious that they pay you for that. But you know, and it is a lot of fun. This year's been taxing, though, for sure. 100% taxing. Oh, guys, I hate to do this to you, but I do try to limit this to an hour. And I have officially been online for an hour and 2 minutes now. So that means I don't have to feel bad about cutting it off because, it took me a half an hour just to get the dang computer to allow me to get online. And now I think I'm just not going to use OBS anymore because this is working out rather nice. And now I don't have that stuttery lag. So there's a communication issue between the computer or the restream and my OBS, but that is that. But either way, I had a really good time. You guys have been great. Um, we're up to 10 people. That's like way more than ever anymore. I always joke, and I'm going to go have tool talk with my four best friends because, that's usually what we get. Sean, I should come visit you for a week or two and just shadow you because I think I need to be more like you. I do. But with that, I'm going to bid you an adieu. Bid you adieu? Adieu. All right, guys. Until next Tuesday. And keep your eyes open. We're going to do a contest and I'm going to give something away. And there's a post and whatever Matt's group's called, 313 tent or tent stuff, or I don't know. It's in there. It's oh uh, no, no. Ryan's mentioning me in a comment and I clicked it and I was looking for that it's here somewhere. Um why is it just not there? It should be. I've been a little more active lately. I got an idea. It's because I can't think of it. Anyways, Matt, Tint Studio, Tint stuff, 31310. I don't know. That one, anyways. there's a post in there asking what you guys think that I should give away. So I'm taking suggestions. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to like follow any of the suggestions, but I definitely am taking suggestions. So, um, oh, it's windowtint313.com. Three. ah, Never mind. I can't even talk. But yeah, Tim, let me know. Martin, I will see you next week. Thanks for the order today. That was awesome. Um, and Sean, you might not only be the highest paid janitor, but you're my favorite janitor. I love that. I love that about you. You're so humble and down to earth. And keep your eyes open because you will be seeing more of me. And anybody, if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm there and available. If if the house is on fire and you need help now, maybe try 911 because there's a chance it might, I have a real job too sometimes and I might not get to you right away. But if you call, there's a good chance I will. But if too many people call, there's a good chance I'll be on the phone and we'll just, you know, I'll call you back. But either way, I'm here for you because you've been there for me. And until next week, I'll see you guys later. Bye.